to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 87, 2021, Turning Stress into Strength. How are you guys doing? What's going on? We are almost to the end of a tumultuous year here in 21. The show is going to be airing mid-December, maybe December 14th, something like that. So Merry Christmas to you. I'm recording it on the day before Thanksgiving, so I would say happy Thanksgiving, but you're already past that now. So I'll just go ahead and fast forward and say Merry Christmas. I hope that your family is all safe and healthy and going to have a wonderful, probably local holiday. Still kind of in the thick of it here with the pandemic, and it's just so amazing how much has changed over 2020. You know, when thinking back to March when all of this started, I just had, even myself, so naive, had no idea at all that we'd still be in this at the end of 2020. But here we are, you know, so I think this year has certainly proven that anything can happen, and that can be a good thing. I think you should embrace that. Anything can happen. It could be positive or it could be challenging, but things can change at the last minute, right? And that's a good thing. So let's learn to be adaptable and embrace that change. And this is going to be my last episode of 2020. I'm glad I got a few more out for you guys before the year wrapped up, because what a year it has been. And what I want to do today is really take the time to reflect a little bit on this year, and I'll share with you, you know, some things that I've been going through, certainly, and I want to offer you some hope and some optimism for 2021. And I think it's really important at this time of the year anyway, to really take some time and reflect on the past year and what went well, what didn't, who were you, who did you become, how can you be better? Who do you want to be in 2021? This is really the time to close out the year thoughtfully and intentionally. And I want you to really consider doing that. You know, I would imagine you're probably home, maybe off of work, whether you want to be or not. And this is a good time to do that introspection and make sure that we don't just roll the calendar over to 2021 being the exact same person that we were. Okay, because we'll just keep getting the same results. So I know it's been a trying year for all of us, but let's get through it together. And I know for me, like I said, I have certainly had my own challenges and fits of anxiety and all kinds of things over the last 8 or 9 months here as a result of this crazy pandemic. And then all the racial issues that were going on. And then, of course, we had a major election, as if all those things weren't enough. And I just feel like we had stress coming at us from every angle. It's really kind of been all things at once here. And it's part of the design, though. You know, life is that way. I really think that is intentional. I think life goes in cycles. There's natural ebb and flow and up and down. And we're going through a period of a cycle right now, I think, collectively in humanity. And it always gets worse before it gets better. It's truly one of the irrefutable laws of the universe. It just does. If you look back on your life at a lot of challenging situations, they always get worse before they get better. And they have to. That's how they get better, right? Nothing is going to heal unless we face everything and bring it to the surface. So it's going to feel painful in the process. So I would really challenge you to look at everything that's going on in the world and not see it as, oh, the world's coming to an end, but more that it's starting over and healing a lot of really deep old wounds. And that is a good thing. It is so necessary. It's like as if we're coming to the end of a dark age, I really think. And these problems that we're experiencing in 2020 are not new. You know that. These are systemic problems that have been going on within society, financial, political, social systems, our education system. I feel like everything is up for grabs, you guys. Everything is up for renegotiation. And that is so necessary because things have been broken for a really long time. Things have been broken. And I think we're just now starting to not tolerate it and starting to really admit to ourselves that we need to come together and fix a lot of things out there in the world. So if these problems that we're experiencing, are here to stay, and I think for a while they are, at least for the next few years, we're going to have to figure out a positive way forward. And I'm not saying that I think the pandemic's going to last many more years. I think that, there is light at the end of the tunnel there. I think even by this time next year, things will be a lot better. But, the effects of it probably will last forever. I don't think we're going to go back to normal, and I think that's okay. So we might have to be okay with things not being the way that they were, because you have to admit, were they really that great? There's a lot of things in the world that were really not that great before. A lot of political division within the country and things like that. So it's really okay, I think, if things don't completely go back to normal after all of this. But the lesson here, I think, is that problems are forever, right? I've talked about that on this show before. Problems don't go away. What is happening, I think, is that collectively, though, we're all learning to come together and actually solve our problems instead of just complain about them and let them divide us even further. And I don't know about you, but I want to be part of the solution and not the problem. And I'm committed to making 2021 and the years that come after this about turning our stress into our strength, turning problems into solutions. Are you with me? All right. So for me personally, this pandemic has been just a roller coaster of emotions. And I know I'm not the only one. And what I mean is how I felt about this whole situation at the very beginning is so different than how I feel about it now. And there's been so many different, changes and iterations of how I feel up and down. It's almost been day to day sometimes that I would change my mind about things, about all the regulations and the restrictions out there and what it all means. I have completely changed from what I originally thought in so many ways, because I'm just getting more and more bits of this bigger picture of what all this is. And I think that's normal, right? When you're going through a change and transition, I think it's completely normal to be unsure about how you feel and change your mind about it. So my first piece of advice to you, I think, would be give yourself the space and the grace to change your mind and figure it out as you go. Okay? This is all evolving rapidly in front of us in real time. So we can't have it all figured out. Allow yourself to be unsure about things. Allow yourself to change your mind. It's only natural to feel uncertain when the world around you is uncertain. So don't demand certainty from yourself right now. That's okay. And remember that our individual experience often does mirror the collective experience, but it can be different. Okay? You have control over your individual response, no matter what's going on in the world. Just because the world is in turmoil doesn't always mean that you have to be. You have control over a lot. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your beliefs, and that is everything, my friends. That is everything. Okay, your life and your career does not have to stop. It's just changing. But you're still alive, your heart is still beating, you're still going on. It just means you're going to have to adapt. And some people more than others, okay? But what matters is that you learn how to do that and become a stronger person as a result of all of this. This is not meant to break you. It's meant to make you. Think about that. I struggled with so many things during this time. I had a lot of random bouts of anxiety where I would just break down crying and I didn't know why. I hate that. I would think I was fine. And then as soon as somebody would start to talk to me, I would just be like, oh, and then just start breaking down crying about stupid day-to-day things. This happened to me so many times. It was just kind of emotionally on an edge, I know one of my biggest concerns, of course, is my daughter, who's an only child and, feels very socially isolated during this time. She's been doing completely distance learning. I don't know how it's been for you and your kids, but we didn't have an option. We just got told everyone's doing distance learning. So that's been a challenge, just from a learning perspective, but then also socially and emotionally too. So I know I struggled too with, what I was making all of this mean with all the rules and the regulations out there. And you can't do this, you can't do that. I certainly struggled with the election as well and trying to keep myself away from the news headlines and not get consumed by them. I've struggled with having to stay in the house. It's funny because I work from home and I already did well before the pandemic, but I'm actually not that much of a homebody. Not being able to get out and travel and not being able to see some of my long distance family members has been hard. Not being able to see my 97-year-old grandmother who's in hospice has been hard. That's been hard on my daughter. And I'm just sharing these things just on a personal level because it's kind of what's been going on in my life. And I know it's what's going on in yours as well. So I'm just kind of having a conversation with you guys today. But then amongst all of this, there were so many days of hope and optimism as well. So many, one day I would be down at the dumps and the next day I would be nice and high up and happy. And it just was an emotional roller coaster. And I just had to learn to surrender to it and just lean into it. That's just how this time is going to be right now. I think that the struggle comes when we resist our emotions, not so much the emotions themselves. So the problem isn't that we're having anxiety or that we're having a hard time. It's that we're resisting it and trying to force ourselves to be happy. So I had to learn or relearn that I need to not do that. I need to just accept my emotions and accept that I'm in transition and accept that things are unsettled right now. And that maybe this isn't a time when I'm supposed to be all giddy and happy, because the point of life isn't to be happy all the time. It is not. It should never be your goal. All right. And you are not alone in the stress that you guys have been feeling. I know it sounds cheesy and you've heard it too many times, but we truly are in this together. So how can we take steps forward to make 2021 a better year in our careers and our personal lives, even if we can't stop the pandemic, and we can't, or change the outcome of the election or anything else? How are we going to move forward? Well, I think it's going to boil down to three things. So this is your lesson for the day. It's going to boil down to awareness, acceptance, and action. These three words need to drive all of your thoughts and feelings and actions in 2021 if you want to have a better year than in 2020. So first, self-awareness. This means really looking at yourself down to the granular level and looking at every thought that you have, even the subconscious ones, especially the subconscious ones. Those are the ones that are hard to even notice. How are you responding to the pandemic? How is it changing your thoughts and feelings? What are you making it all mean? Is that serving you? Is that really what it means? Is it challenging what you believe? Is it making you learn something new? I want you to ask yourself these questions and, even better, journal them, as I have done as well. Who are you becoming as a result of this? What is coming to the surface? Are you having money problems? Are you having relationship problems? Are you having career problems? Pay attention to that, because 2020 is telling you that is an area of your life that you need to change, that you need to fix. If you are having recurring issues in an area of your life, your health could be anything, time management, whatever. Pay attention to the signs that you are getting and ask yourself, how can I be better? What do I need to learn from this? Why is this issue surfacing right now? Because it's there for a reason. I want you to ask hard questions of yourself and look at your responses and what do they say about you? And you don't do this with judgment. The point is not to judge yourself. It's merely observation. Self-observation and awareness is so critical in life. It's everything. If you don't know how you're showing up for a situation, you can't change it. So put it on paper if you need to. Journal it, whatever you need. How has this affected you as a person? What issues has the pandemic brought up for you, or just the year 2020? And what do you think it's saying about your life? And how can you channel that into a strength, into a positive new behavior or a positive new perspective? What would you change if you could have done lived this whole experience again? What would you have done differently? That's usually the lesson. Allow these thoughts to come up without any judgment or regret, and just offer them up to yourself as loving suggestions and awarenesses. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I will share the last 2 steps with you. We're going to work through acceptance and action so you can turn your stress into strength in 2021. Okay, we'll be right back. Hey guys, we're on a break for a minute, and I want to tell you about something exciting going on at careeruprising.com. I have an online store that I created just for you. It has a variety of low-cost resources that will give you the boost that you need in your career, and they offer a great introduction to what it would be like to coach with me. I've got ebooks, meditations, and other resources for you to take advantage of and start getting help today. These products are instantly downloadable, priced incredibly low, and cover many aspects of career transitions. Head on over now to the store while you're listening to the show. It's at careeruprising.com/store. That's careeruprising.com/store. Now let's get back to the show. All right, so the second thing I want you to do after you do all of that fun diving into self-awareness, which can be fun, but also can be quite uncomfortable, is to have acceptance for what you find, okay? And this is really hard for people. It's hard to accept difficult things that you have no control over. And I definitely think that 2020 has shown us that we don't have control over a lot of things. But yet, we do. We have control over ourselves and how we respond to the events of the world. And this is where all your power is. It is all the power you need. I know you don't believe me, but it's true. You do not need to change the outside circumstances because those are a result of our inside circumstances. So the equation is backwards. If you're trying to change the world first, you've got it all backwards. You have to change yourself. And if everybody on the planet stopped and did that, the entire world would change. And that's kind of what we're doing right now with this forced timeout that we're in, this quarantine, okay? It's like the world, God just told us all to go to our room, basically, and we needed to. So now I think that we need to stop trying to have control over the outside world, have acceptance there for what you can't change. All right, because it's a myth that you need to change other people or other circumstances. In order to be happy and productive, you need only to change yourself. You've heard it before. It's a cliche, but it's only because it's true. Life is not about what happens. It's about what you make it mean and what you do about it. So if you're in a state of resistance about the pandemic, that is causing your suffering, not the pandemic. Bold statement, but it's true. Quite honestly, we're going to have to ride this thing out. And the easiest way to do it is to be in a state of acceptance. Now, that doesn't mean we get lazy or complacent or just throw our hands up and say, oh, there's nothing we can do. No, but we're not emotionally resisting it. We acknowledge that it's here, and then we move forward constructively. It doesn't mean that we don't work productively to get past it and to fix it. It just means that emotionally, we're not in a state of resistance and denying it and wishing that we could just go back to normal as fast as possible. That is a waste of time, and it's not going to happen. I know we all want this to go away as fast as possible. I do too. But it's going to go away when we've learned our lessons from it and not a minute sooner. Accept that it's here. And accept the results of the election. Accept the pandemic. Accept the election. Let's move forward. Accept whatever's going on in your personal life that you might need to accept. Is there a circumstance in your life that you're having a hard time accepting? Maybe you lost your job. Maybe your business had to close. It's all happening for a reason, my friends, and you cannot change it until you accept it. Accepting also does not mean agreeing. It doesn't mean you have to like it. and that it isn't going to be painful. It doesn't mean that you're condoning a certain person or behavior or situation. You're simply acknowledging that it happened and moving forward. And from that point of power, you can now decide how you want to take action and move forward as a result. But being in denial just keeps you weak and powerless. And lastly, action. One of my favorite things in life. Nothing ever changes in life without action. Now, this can mean, politically taking action in a way. If you feel called to do that, do it. Or it could just mean taking action on something going on in your life, maybe at the local level. It could mean taking action in your career. It could mean changing careers at this time and pivoting to something that's more viable long-term. Maybe you're in a career path that's being phased out by AI or the pandemic. Many people are taking this time to change to a new career. It's a smart thing to do. More people than you would think. So I want you to really think about that. A lot of people too are evaluating, do they need another stream of income? I learned that lesson a long time ago. I have multiple streams of income, and that has served me well and insulated me quite a bit during this time. The gig economy in freelancing is here to stay. A lot of people are getting side gigs. That's an action that you could take to insulate yourself from another economic recession or something. That's the kind of action I'm talking about. Thinking about strategically, coming up with a strategic plan for your life. Have you ever done that? I have. I have strategic plans in my business and personal goals. Now is the right time to start taking action. Maybe you need to go back to school, get a certification, or get more training. Maybe you need to leave a relationship. Maybe you need to say yes to a relationship. Maybe now's the right time to finally give up alcohol or something else. I've personally been making a lot of changes. I'm off caffeine. I hardly even drink coffee at all. But when I do, it's decaf. I've cut way back on alcohol. I drink probably a fourth of what I ever did before. I have been making a lot of changes personally and taking action in a lot of ways. I've been really looking deeply at my inner self-talk and my subconscious thoughts and cleaning out a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be there. What about you? What needs to be different in your life in 2021? And what action can you personally take to make it happen? There's always an answer if you dig deep and get quiet. For me, I've become, like I said, much more aware of my mind, and a lot of the worrying and stressful thoughts that I've succumbed to this year, I've been really cleaning up a lot of those and noticing them, interrupting them when they happen, and replacing them with something else more positive. It's been an ongoing process. Self-growth is the work of a lifetime, and I won't be done anytime soon. That's okay. I don't want to be. But I'm committed to learning what I need from this time and turning my stress into strength. All right. I hope you will commit to that too. And I have some exciting things coming up. I'm planning at the moment to launch my group program again in the new year, Career Advancement Academy. So look out for that in January. I'm really, really excited. I hope that you will consider joining me. It's going to be very, very affordable, a couple $100. That's it. And you will get access to me, coaching, and connecting with your peers. It is going to be fantastic. So look for Career Advancement Academy coming in early 2021 and connect with me at careeruprising.com. Reach out to me if you need coaching, if you have questions, or even just a topic suggestion for the show. You can email me directly at Lorraine at careeruprising.com. But this is it for 2020, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Make the best of it. Turn your stress into your strength, and I will be back in 2021. Love you guys. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by inflowradio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.